The Night Shift is brought to you by Gamer Subs. Get high-quality clean energy with none of the crash of regular energy drinks, or even just make your brain jar water taste better with caffeine-free options. Save 10% off your whole order with code NIGHTMARE at checkout, or the link in the description below. The Night Shift is filmed in front of an undead studio audience. Welcome to The Night Shift! Live from a totally not haunted video store, I'm your favorite brain in a jar, Spark, featuring Nick Nocturne. Please put your blood-soaked hands together for your host, Nightmare!
Yes! Welcome back to The Night Shift. We have our second episode and it is just as jam-packed as the first, although the news has gotten objectively fucking worse. There is a lot we need to talk about, so let's get into it, shall we? On the practical effects side, Until Dawn director David F. Sandberg dropped a fun little video on YouTube this month where he breaks down not only his love for practical effects, but how he got his start and some of his other work in films, and showed off some really interesting things and techniques that he did for Until Dawn. I'm a little hesitant on the film itself, and the story that they're telling is a little... yeah. But this is a neat little extra that we got, and even if the movie is complete and utter fucking dog shit, well, at least we got this, and we got some cool practical effects out of it as well. In limited series news that doesn't know how to stay a limited series, the hit Netflix true crime show Adolescence is getting a second season because, you know, 2 seasons means it's limited. But the producers don't only have that up their sleeve. They want to reimagine the 80s apocalyptic drama Threads for TV and streaming audiences. Renowned for its groundbreaking portrayal of a fictional apocalypse, Threads offers a harrowing depiction of life in nuclear war-era Britain. Warp Films noted that this adaptation will explore present issues through rich and character-driven storytelling. The original film's chilling account immersed viewers in the struggles of ordinary people facing unimaginable hardship. Though we have series like Fallout and many other post-apocalyptic series, whether it be zombies, vampires, demons, or just our own decline in society, Threads was one of the first to ever depict a post-nuclear war society as gritty, realistic, and raw as they did. With the topics that Threads covers being more relevant now than ever before, maybe this adaptation could be a fresh perspective on why hurling nukes at each other is a terrible fucking idea. I know. Hot take. Tonight's the night. That, we finally get to talk about some Dexter news. Dexter Original Sin, its prequel series, talking about the early days of everyone's favorite totally not autistic serial killer, is getting a season 2. Why it needs a season 2, I don't really know, but the show, as cringy as it was a good time. It was good, campy murder fun. Murder fun? Fun murders? Either way, I think they did a good job adapting the series, as well as casting a younger interpretation of all of the beloved characters from the original series. In weirder Dexter news, Michael C. Hall has stated that not only will Dexter Resurrection pick up right after the other sequel series, it's also planning to run for many seasons, and that they are not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. They saw how many fucking dokes TikToks are going around and different Dexter trends, and they're gonna milk this bitch until she's dry. Now, not all the news is fun and quirky and goofy. Some of it's bad, but before I rain on your parade, why don't we ask Grimm what the kill of the month is?
Captain's log. Stardate,
April 17th.
April 17th. Point 2. Welcome to the final frontier. Or rather, the final frontier for someone is we're about to watch them die horribly because yes, once again, it's time for the kill of the month. Now I know what some of you disgusting Fortnite playing Zoomers whose first fucking horror film was The Poo Poo Pee Pee Man are probably thinking. Ugh, the grumpy slasher guy's only gonna talk about old movies. Your bias is showing. Hey, Grandpa, what was Christmas like in the 80s? Well, to that I say, it was better! But more on point, modern horror films are just as valid and have just as much to offer as the classics that came before and laid the groundwork for them, especially in terms of on-screen gore. And while there's no shortage of contemporary films with kills that I could have chosen for this, I instead opted to bridge the gap between old and new by pulling from an established long-running slasher franchise, but choose one of the later sequels to talk about. Yes, I'm sure some of you have already figured out where I'm going with this. While at the time we had already previously enjoyed a Leprechaun and a Hellraiser in space, for April's Kill of the Month, we're going to be taking a look at Jim Isaac's funny, futuristic, fish-out-of-water slasher flick, Jason X. The 10th entry in the saga of everyone's favorite Mama's Boy came about as the decades-long development hell production of Freddy vs. Jason was finally winding down. But New Line Cinema decided they wanted another sequel so audiences would retain interest in the character. And while several ideas were pitched, including a Friday the 13th that took place during the winter season, like that would work, they eventually landed on Todd Farmer's script, which was originally envisioned as a pseudo-alien homage, which involves an incarcerated Jason breaking free from his bonds, slaughtering his captors, only to end up cryogenically frozen and reawakening in the far future, just to continue his rampage aboard the spaceship Grendel, while en route to humanity's new home of Earth 2. Oh no, he killed John Carpenter! So after our heroine is revived and starts expositing about how Jason is busy thawing out in the medical lab, presided over by one lone student after her friends leave to do what characters in a Friday the 13th film do. Oh, ha ha ha, I get it. Guys like me can be rear-woken from a death slumber simply by the sounds of age-inappropriate teens fucking. That is a slanderous slasher stereotype, and we are not amused, Todd Farmer. Unfortunately for Adrian here, Jason is feeling a bit rusty after his cryo catnap, and seeing as how she's the only person in arm's reach, it means she's the sacrificial lamb for one of the most memorable, brutal, and inventive kills in Friday the 13th history. So without further ado, enjoy. You can say what you want about this movie, but everybody knows that shit is awesome. This is one of the earliest perfect examples of what I mean when I say digital effects shouldn't be relied on solely, but used to enhance the practical that has a presence on screen. What begins with a live actress performing and then covered up by pretty decent CG for the time, then turns into two practical scenes back to back, one with the actress wearing a face appliance or mask, and then the other cutting to a dummy head with a breakaway face and a hollow head cavity. Now, for the actual shattering effect, there's a couple different things you could do to achieve it. Unfortunately, the behind the scenes for Jason X mostly talks about the set design and use of early CG techniques. So I'm going to use my own knowledge of the industry and special effects to fill in the gaps a little bit and talk about this. But again, this isn't gospel. This is just me basically telling you how I would recommend to do an effect like this. Back in the day, this probably would have been done with either sugar glass, which is a material commonly used for breakaway windows, like the one Sally jumps through in the original TCM, or unfired clay left to dry on its own, like they used to use for breakable props, like the plates in Evil Dead 2. But advancements in special effects industry techniques means that more recent films employ either shatter wax, which is a fun little material usually utilized for glass or ice props meant to be crushed or exploded, or proper urethane plastic, aka smash plastic, which is a very brittle and delicate material that has become the standard for bottles, glasses, and pretty much anything else you see get broken during a stunt fight. And like every other film I talk about on here, I'm going to go a little bit into the production, or rather all of the problems that it had. While initially completed in 2000, Spacin' sat on the shelf until its 2002 release. but a copy of the film was leaked online before it hit theaters, which probably helped lead to its poor box office. On top of that, scathing reviews and fans calling it too much of a departure from the rest of the series, as well as being dated with bad CG and cheesy self-aware humor, earned it the reputation of being the worst Friday the 13th film of all time. First of all, this is not the worst Friday the 13th film.
I'm going to say 2 words to you, Mr. Duke, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
You ready?
Shoot.
Jason Voorhees.
Well, that makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Hell, this isn't even one of the worst franchise slasher sequels. Anybody remember Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation? Yeah, you know, the one where nobody gets killed with a chainsaw?
How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up?
Also, to all those at the time who labeled the CG in this film dated or bad, I'd like to point out that only 1 year after this film was completed, we got the sequel to The Mummy, The Mummy Returns. A movie that not only had septuple the fucking budget of Jason X, but also sported CG that looked like this. Oh my god, 2002 critics, well, I guess this means that you need shut the fuck up. Look, while it's not my go-to entry in the series, if you skip Jason X because you heard it was bad or the worst Friday the 13th film, definitely check it out and enjoy it for the ridiculous, tongue-in-cheek, what-if, dumb, fun movie it is. And yes, I will even forgive Todd Farmer for that little joke he made at Slasher's expense in this movie. I mean, come on, it's not like he did it more than once.
Hey, you want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex.
We love premarital sex!
Fuck! And that's your April kill of the month. I hope you guys enjoyed the segment. Make sure you stick around. I know Nightmare's got some good stuff in store for you guys. Stay safe. And now, if you don't mind, an old friend and I have to go restore balance to the universe. You know what? I think I will take that beer.
Thanks, Grimm. Oh, if only we could live in a world without horrible, awful slasher stereotypes. Now to Al Gore with the weather. All right. And on to the bad news. A lot of remakes rounding the corner. Not only do we have Glenn Powell, who is set to star and produce in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel to the so good and wonderful Netflix one, but also everyone's favorite I'm Literally Him guy, Ryan Gosling, is allegedly set to produce a Killer Clowns from Outer Space reboot or remake. Maybe it's a sequel. Maybe it's a requel. Maybe the clowns are going to come back all old and goofy and they're going to tell us that evil dies tonight, or popcorn prices are too high, or the carnival circuit is dead. Either way, Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a bit of a lightning in a bottle situation, and I don't think you can recapture that lightning in a bottle, even if you have everyone's favorite car-flipping hunk, Ryan Gosling, behind it. I'm hoping it's a passion project and not just them attaching his name to it for shits and giggles. Now, ghoulies, have you been naughty or nice? That's right, we're talking about Christmas stuff. It may not be anywhere near Christmas, but Roan Campbell from Halloween Ends and The Monkey will be taking up the boots of Billy in Silent Night, Deadly Night's new adaptation, which could be good. He was a failure as a Michael Myers stand-in. Now, I thought his kills, though it probably wasn't actually him in the suit, were a great fucking time, and I wish that movie ended with him picking up the knife and the white mask and the need for Strode blood on his hands, but alas, we got the dog shit other thing. That was Halloween Ends. This could be a second chance for him to revive a once beloved slasher series and take up the knife for himself, or the axe, or the bow, or the Christmas lights. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Texas Chainsaw getting another sequel with everyone's favorite hunk Glenn Powell. Man, I wonder how Grimm feels about this. Grimm? I'll check on him later.
The night shift will be back right after these messages.
Trying to kick that nasty piss drinking habit. Are you tired of drinking that gut-rotting liquid Nickelback song that makes you crash faster than it wakes you up? Sick of guzzling Shrek piss that makes your hands shake faster than your mom's top drawer boyfriend? Or do you just want to get the jump on your sleep paralysis demon for once? Ha ha! I know I do. Well, look no further. Gamer Subs is the best energy drink on the market. Sugar-free, keto, and diabetic friendly. Sourced from the gamer farms, where gamers are milked until they're reduced to a fine powder and... What's that? That's not how it's made. Nobody dies? Why the f***? Why name it Grandpa's Ashes? With 100 milligrams of caffeine per scoop, no blood sugar spikes, no crash, no urge to flashbang babies or punch drywall. And it's cheaper than every other energy drink on the market. At 40 cents a scoop with 100 servings a tub, you're saving money that you can then spend on your favorite streamer's flesh crafting hobby. Or on...
You can't tell people to make bombs!
Why not?
Because it's a crime! Also, stop making creatures out of skin. We can't feed them all.
You know, you're no fun anymore. Ever since the divorce, you became...
The divorce has nothing to do with this, and you know it!
With loads of great flavors, like Grandpa's Ashes.
Not made with real grandpa.
Peach tea, gamer fart, teddy milk, pace. I mean snake oil. Lean. Call now at 1-800... Or use code NIGHTMARE at checkout and save 10% off.
Now, back to the night shift.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hello. I am Nick Nocturne of Nightmind over on YouTube and the Nightmind extension, Nightmind Live, over on Twitch. I have been in operation for almost 10 years now, since July of 2015. The best way I can describe myself is as an ambassador of unfiction, which is immersive storytelling online. It's largely storytelling through new media that is internet-based, that pretends that it's all real. In a lot of cases. Or at least it has a bit of reality play. If you've ever heard of an alternate reality game, that fits under the umbrella of unfiction. If you've ever come across... Of course, the latest Vogue thing is analog horror, or that's part of the umbrella, but especially if it really plays into more of analog media and a character that is finding these things and writing about that in the description, and all of the uploads are in character. That's the kind of media that I present. So I'm a bit of a different kind of horror host, but still bringing a lot of wonderful, scary things online to people's attention.
So what initially inspired you to start the Nightmind channel?
I had no conception about making a channel at all. It was literally right around this time, 10 years ago. I had just been watching with my friend Markiplier's uploads of Five Nights 3. Because by that point, we were both into Five Nights, and we were spending a lot of time together. Just hanging out, checking out music, talking about stuff. And I brought up Five Nights 3, and Five Nights 3 was the one that had the most teeth. Five Nights 3 was like purely, you could feel like Scott Cawthon was contemplating hanging it up there and calling it a trilogy. So he went out with real, like, let's just blow out the doors and scare the shit out of people. Honest to God, from beginning to end, with Springtrap and everything. And I was watching that, and I felt so inspired and at the same time unable to do anything that I was thinking about at the time because it's that headspace where it's like I want to do something, I don't know what, and I know that I've just been sitting here for a while on the bench creatively. Um, and I was thinking about that creativity and how Scott Cawthon was somebody who was ready to give up when he tried something new and was an indie creator who really blew up with his work. I took a look online at the grander scene on YouTube of what was happening in horror when it came to what are we celebrating? Because we were celebrating Five Nights, obviously. We're celebrating Scott Cawthon. But outside of horror let's plays, movie reviews, and the creepypasta scene, there was nothing going on. And there was something that I did feel a little bit annoyed at, which is that the creepypasta narration scene had grown to such a breadth that you could tell there were channels popping up left and right where the idea was just, yeah, I'm just gonna get in on this because it's popular and it works. Like, why not? And it genuinely was pissing me off that we had this real fixation on overdoing creepypasta and creepypasta narration because you have real tent poles in that genre on YouTube and creators who have been absolute giants over time who helped popularize it in the first place and kept it alive well into modern day. And then you have those people who are inspired by them, and the love is real and the passion is real. And then the more it goes on, the more people come up. It's that kind of like it's the mascot horror game effect, where the waves that keep coming, you're gonna find less and less love until a renaissance actually occurs. And so I was really miffed. It's like, okay, amazing things are happening in indie creativity and all sorts of horror creativity, but there's a sense of stagnation here, especially when it comes to that sense of Scott Cawthon in other ways. And I thought about how much stuff like ARGs were being ignored, especially in the wake of. I'm realizing it now. I realized how I made the connection in the first place now. I've never had this happen to me. Thank you. Because you just got me to realize this. It was the creative ARG-esque investigate and put together the pieces media aspect of what Scott Cawthon was doing with Five Nights and how everybody was losing their minds over this, diving into it left and right, that reminded me of the ARG scene and stuff like Marble Hornets. And nobody was celebrating that. And I was really feeling like something was wrong with that picture, that I felt so much love. I can't believe I'm finally making this connection. I've told the story of what inspired me with Nightmind so many times, but it's like I finally realized that's where the train of thought must have come from. From Five Nights 3 to figuring out that I wanted to do Marble Hornets Explained. It was more than just the anger that I felt at the time of oversaturation in YouTube horror on particular things and people who were obviously in it because they wanted the views and not the love. It was the fact that we had seen this kind of creativity before, and it had never been rewarded like Scott Cawthon was being rewarded with attention online. And that's what did it, because I realized I looked up ARG on YouTube. There was one video, one cursory glance. Yes, one cursory glance video on the idea of ARG. I looked up Marble Hornets. There was nobody putting together the piece of that. I looked up a few other things, and I just realized there is no scene. There's nothing here. Okay, like my process was, all right, we have a problem here. YouTube horror is oversaturated in a few sections of overconcentration on particular things. There are all these creators being served, and then it's even to the point now where you have people who are here just because they want some of the gravy, and it's not for the love. You have Scott Cawthon popping off with this amazing work, but look at what he did in other projects that came before that are getting no celebration at all, and just my blood boiled. It's like, why? Why do you have things as amazing as Marble Hornets and the scene that they inspired, all of their peers, and ARG in general, this entire realm of creativity, and nobody is singing their praises. Nobody is trying to put together things for it. And we have these videos, these lore videos, these mystery connection videos for stuff like Five Nights, but nobody is doing that for Marble Hornets. The whole experience is practically inaccessible to a majority of people because we don't have this. So it's like I sat there, it's like, it's a crime. That's what I felt. It's a crime. And I sat there and I'm like, oh shit. Well, guess what? Nobody's done it. It's missing. You figured out it's missing. So guess who the job falls to if you want to see this fixed? You have to do it. Because nobody else is going to do this. And I'm like, okay. All right, fine. Fine. Can I do this? And it's like, it was more than can I do this, is I need to do this. I need to. I don't make videos. I'm going to have to learn how to do this through tutorials. But I have an old microphone that I bought off of somebody in after high school for like $50 on a whim, thinking this might be useful someday. I have the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite with all these programs that I have not used. I know how to write. I know how to speak. Granted, I was not nearly as skilled back then as I am 10 years later, but I could forgive myself. So I needed to do it. And so I dove in end of March 2015, and I worked straight through into June. And my conception of it was, this is going to be so much work that I need to have multiple videos to do this. I cannot publish the first one until the second one is done, because otherwise there's going to be a lull, because I know enough about YouTube to know that this is going to hurt me if I do not have regular rotation. I had no conceptions of being a YouTuber. I had no conceptions of being successful. All I knew was I need to do this, point blank. And I did it with the love and the passion and the dedication that I felt at the time, as deeply as I could do it. I didn't expect people to care. I did it because I knew it needed to be done. And it was the first time in my life doing anything creative that something worked. And all these years later, I'll still kick back and say, and you know why? For people out there wondering, why is my creative project not working? You cannot have expectations on it. You must do it with the love and the passion and no idea about what it's going to do for you or in the grand plan of things. You just have to do it and love it and put it out there. And all of my greatest videos have had that behind it every time. And it's hilarious how often that turns out to be the case of, yeah, no, you can't make things with ideas of what it's going to be or what it's going to do. You have to smile and love it and make it and be excited. And that's what blows up.
So, with the ever growing catalog of unfiction expanding onto the internet, how do you choose what series to dive into? What's your process for choosing which projects or series to cover?
That is always an act of just feeling like, are you doing something inventive? Are you doing something unique? Are you doing something quality? Can I feel the love and passion and excitement that you have for your work in here? Is it really doing its lifting in terms of being art, in terms of understanding that there is an effort that you need to put in here and a dedication? Does it speak to me? Will it speak to people who view this? Does it have moments of amazing experiences where it's like, wow? Does it have moments where, in covering it, I'm going to shut up for 3 minutes straight and let it play due to the sheer impact of the work? Because I can't do things that feel like more of the same. And I will never lose that element of me that inspired Nightmind in the first place, doing the Marble Hornet series, of taking a look on YouTube and realizing, wow, this scene has grown to a point where anybody and everybody is trying this, and I don't feel the love. They're just doing it now for the sake of doing it. People are writing creepypasta for the sake of, I'm gonna write creepypasta. People are trying to be narrators for the sake of, oh, well, you know what? Everybody else is doing it. It's working for them. I can read it. Yeah. Oh, and that really pissed me off because, you know, you and I can tell you understand. Reading, narrating is an art form.
But you're also one of my favorite internet detectives when it comes to horror. But every investigator has that one case that they can never truly shake. What's one of the most challenging videos or series that you've worked on, or one that sticks with you to this day?
Oh, God. You want to talk about the one that, well, there's actually two cases of this. One where it's like, it's just so, where do I even fucking begin? I get mentally exhausted just thinking about it, where it's not even for a super awesome reason, which is cabin fever dreams material. And if I go about it in a certain mindset now, doing Nightmind Live, I could at least pierce the topic, which is Tangent Tech Human Souls ARG, where
Okay.
this guy made something that was so huge. The amount of videos that he created for it is so exhausting to look at, and the amount of elements in terms of codes and puzzles are so exhaustive that it would be a labor for me to go through. Like, that's the kind of thing where I look at it and I go, I am so tired just trying to think about how I would do this. And I talked to him about it. And he said that what happened was that when he launched it, he didn't know what ARG was. He just
Oh.
played around with this puzzle idea with some videos he was making and with some footage because he wanted to play a bit of a game like that, not actually knowing what ARG was. And then people responded. So then he kept doing it round after round after round after round, and you can see the problem immediately,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, because if you don't actually have like a full A to Z idea of what it is that you're making within a healthy span of getting through it all, um, and rewards, significant story element rewards, like sizable for what you're solving, then you're just going to build yourself up to a point. Like, if you just keep giving people something to solve over and over again, then yeah, you're feeding the codes and puzzles side of the equation quite well, but then anybody else who hasn't been doing that all the way along, they come across what you have created as a mountain, and it's like, I'm not gonna climb that. I can't, especially because, like, when it's set up in that fashion, where any major significant amount of narrative would be locked behind so many steps, and I don't have a huge emotional investment foothold to begin with, I have no reason. It's very tough. It's extremely impressive. The dedication is wow factor, but every time I've thought about it year after year for Cabin Fever Dreams, the thought is no, because it will eat your whole season.
Yeah.
You will not have fun trying to make this one singular video just to say you did it. I could approach this in Nightmind Live now because the effort wouldn't be monumental. It would not be a Nightmind main effort, but that's the
Which a
reason
lot
behind
goes
that.
in.
A lot goes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be exhausting. But in terms of the one that got away that I think about from time to time, this was a hit you had to be there kind of moment. Meat Sleep. Does that mean anything to you?
Yes.
Oh boy,
Okay.
then you know.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I'm glad I let that one get away because of how it ended in terms of what happened to the project and the people acting in it. Meat Sleep, for everybody's information, was this very cryptic project that gained a lot of pickup immediately because it was very weird, flashy art house with with signs throughout that it was a character who was a serial killer who would hunt and eat his victims and then turn their remains into something. Meat sleep was sometimes referred to as sewn kin, aka new skin. So you had like 3 different names for this project. Um, and people were madhouse about it because it was some of the most creative shit that you've ever seen in video, and it was very dark. It's like, my God, we're doing some Silence of the Lambs stuff and unfiction over here. I love it.
It was like 100 plus videos, if I remember correctly.
I don't know if it was 100 plus, but it was significant. It was a significant amount. And what happened with that was that it got a little too enamoring for certain people to the point of some people becoming angry at its existence and success and trying to dox the creator of Meat Sleep, which
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, there was a whole Facebook page from some dude who was adamant about revealing Meat Sleep. And it's like, bro, you got to calm the fuck down. This is creativity here.
Yeah.
It just there was an unhealthy sense when it came to some viewers of this project. It was really cool, but you had the people who were getting legitimately concerned that they were actually watching videos by a serial killer. Because sometimes that's the power of unfiction, is even when everybody else knows that you're playing a game and that it's a story, some people are still like, is this real? Should I call someone? Mom! You know? But also, what really threw me off of that and made me swear off of it before making any kind of video, because I had a gut feeling all along. Watch this. Don't make a video. Don't. Just keep watching what happens. There was a sense of don't touch this one. Keep watching. And I'm glad I did, because it ended up producing some very strange videos that felt like jokes. With like rap lyrics like, bitch you thirsty, please have Sprite, which was one of the most immersion breaking things that could come out of Meat Sleep. And it also then featured, and this really pissed me off, because there are some people you see trying things on the internet who you understand, you poor little lamb. You have absolutely no self-confidence and you're trying something for the first time, just trying to be yourself and do a thing. They included a video from somebody who was trying to get support for a book launch that they were doing as an indie publisher. This poor sweet thing who obviously had no experience being on a camera and was just trying to put themselves out there. And they included that. And then people found that page and asked, are you involved with Meat Sleep? Are you sewn kin? What's going on here? And it's like, you really fucked up there.
Yeah.
Grabbing this video from this random person who should not have been broadcast to your audience. And as soon as I saw that, it's like, that's it. No, you guys are not getting coverage from me. I don't know what the hell is going on with you, but that was over the line. I cannot condone or support that.
Yeah.
And then very quickly after that, it came out through some sort of revelation apology video that all the sporadic activity came about because Meat Sleep was a collective creation. It was a group across the internet from a few people across a few different countries, all contributing. And it suddenly all made sense because they had a falling out amongst each other, and then they were using the accounts to snipe at each other, and it devolved into a mess.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ugh. That's awful. I didn't know it got that bad. Like, I knew it was a clusterfuck, but oh my God.
That's why. At the end of it, it all came apart because of that. They could not stop fighting with each other and playing these stupid gags. Like, as soon as somebody uploaded that video, bitch you thirsty, please have Sprite, you know, it's like, that's it. You just destroyed this game. Like, we can't recover from that because that video got deleted. A lot of the
Yeah.
videos would appear and they'd be deleted, and they must have thought they had a proper smoke screen there.
Do you think with the rapid rise of YouTube and social media has changed the way horror is consumed? It's something I've asked many guests, and I always like to just see how us as YouTube horror creators see the evolution of the space.
100%. We only need take a look back at projects like The Sun Vanished and Dear
Yeah.
David to give us the evidence of how quickly you can take any new format online and then turn it around for a horror storytelling experience or an immersive experience. And I love that. Anytime something starts to enter the internet in a way where people are becoming rapidly aware of it, expect storytelling.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It happens every single time with every single platform. And sometimes it happens in spaces that are niche and difficult to get into without somebody giving you instructions. Case in point, myhouse.wad.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me the Doom modding community created this big, elaborate, deeply impactful storytelling project that does things in terms of its technology it should not be doing, and now like that's a horror and immersive storytelling experience? Wow. Okay, I guess I'll figure out how to install all of this just to go through it. It's like that kind of power and that kind of creativity across all different vectors of storytelling. I've seen a little bit of it already on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I anticipated that. I got onto Blue Sky thinking, okay, who's gonna follow the line of The Sun Vanished over on Blue Sky? Step up, step up, step up, come on.
The night shift will be back right after these messages.
Congratulations! If you're watching this tape, then that means... So welcome to your Terror Tapes orientation video. I'm disembodied narrator voice here to guide you on your new and exciting journey. But hold on now, I hear you say. What in the 9 hells is Terror Tapes? Well, my friend, you are in for a very special treat. Located on the scenic corner between somewhere and nowhere east of 666th Street, an indefinitely totally not haunted building, there's no ghosts, we promise, is your new home, Terror Tapes, stocked with all the frights, flicks, and monsters you could ever want. And if that doesn't sell you, why not stop on by for a live studio taping of your new favorite show, The Night Shift, featuring freaky, fabulous guests such as Mr. Creepypasta, Nightmind, Airdorf, and more. You'll never want to leave. Around Terror Tapes, you'll see many mascots and friendly faces. These freaky beings are key in keeping Nightmare and the store in tip-top condition, so let's meet them. Algorithm. Your attention feeds him. He is all. He is everywhere. Feed him. Feed him. Feed Marvin, an old god. He's always been here. Obey him. Ghoulian, the original ghoul. Cute and filled with chaos. Spark, co-host of The Night Shift, whose brain is that stop asking questions. What do you get out of here? The media hole. That's where the games and the movies come from. Just don't get too close to it. Editor Chan. She edits the videos. She came from It Took Her. Bathroom Cowboy. Well, he's just a fella. Chuck. Legally distinct, and do watch out, he bites. Scully! Hooray! The ghouls! That's all of you! A brand new Terror Tapes membership gets you new skin. Aren't you tired of your old skin? Take it off.
Take it off.
Take it off.
Take it off now.
Remove it. Remove your skin. Remove your skin.
Become a ghoul.
Watch the tape.
Take it off.
Now, back to the night shift.
Oh, media hole, what do we got for the rental roundup? There is a lot of movie news coming out this month. What do you got for us, buddy?
Director Ryan Coogler's movie Sinners will be dropping. Through test screenings, it already has a 99% certified fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. We all love vampire horror, so this is slated to be a good time. The movie stars Michael B. Jordan playing twins, trying to leave their troubled lives behind. These two return to their hometown to start again, only to discover an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. On April 11th, Don't Peek dropped on YouTube for free for all audiences to watch. Don't Peek follows a YouTube couple whose career is starting to fray their marriage, as they grapple with how to leverage the discovery of the previous owner of their home, who was not only a serial killer, but taped his crimes and believed that his victims were haunting him.
All right. So we got some free, fun YouTube horror as well as a big horror blockbuster dropping in theaters. What else you got for me, Media Hole?
We all praise and hail Ratma here. It may not be the big blockbuster that Sinners is, but Big Freaking Rat drops on April 25th. On video on demand. I mean, what's not to love? It's a big practical fucking rat. I fucking love rats! Rats!
Hail Ratma, everybody.
Hell of a Summer dropped on April 4th, directed by Billy Burke and Finn Wolfhard of Stranger Things fame. It follows the counselors of a summer camp as they're terrorized by a masked killer. The movie itself looks campy and fun, with good use of practical effects and gore. It looks like your standard love letter to the genre, and a good throwback to some good old-fashioned teen murder.
All right, thanks, Media Hole. I think we'll be giving you the rental roundup for the future. As long as people enjoyed you.
You should have all enjoyed me. I'm delightful.
Thank you so much once again to Nick Nocturne for joining us for this month's episode of The Night Shift. If you want to check out his content, the link will be in the description down below. But the man needs no introduction in the slightest. An absolute legend of his craft and someone I personally look up to. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It pleases algorithm and gets him to stop screaming in all of your nightmares. If you want to see any changes to the show, things to be added, longer segments, or have any other suggestions, please put it into the comments down below or submit it into the suggestion box in the Discord. Also, what other content would you like to see from Terratapes? Movie reviews? Horror game coverage? I want to make more content for all of you, and I want to know what you all want to see.